use cameras and technology to get messages to people, and both talk about stuff that has happened.
So that's a clip from Jimmy Dore Show. Crystal Ball's correct about the left's response to force the vote. I want to just talk a little bit about this video. This video is fantastic. This is the New York Times did a 3D rendition of the killing of Breonna Taylor, and Kenny Walker is there, and you have Mattingly and Cosgrove and all, 7 terrorists. So you have 7 terrorists that show up to Breonna Taylor's house at night, late at night, 1 in the morning, right? So there's actually 2 raids. People said that she had a violent, crazy boyfriend, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Scarface. Well, they actually nabbed Scarface earlier in the night. He's 10 miles away in the West End, and it shows on this video, it shows that whole entire thing. So you can see that they are going to arrest Scarface with their body cameras without incident. So they were able to go after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, was able to make that arrest. It was all on body camera, no questions, they got him in jail. Fantastic, right? Perfect. That's how you're supposed to do it. Now, Mattingly and his terroristic fucking piece of shit crew, well, they fuck it up. They don't have body cameras on to begin with. 7 people are showed up. They only think that Breonna Taylor is by herself. They believe that Breonna Taylor is by herself. Why do you need 7 motherfuckers? And then they're lined up at the door, and nobody's, checking the window. And then the guy's going to go over to the side of the window, and he's shooting at the cop, the gun fire that he sees inside because he thinks that, but it's the cops he's shooting at so the police are shooting at each other. They shoot 32 shots total, and Kenny Walker, he came up to the door. They don't announce themselves. It's not a no-knock warrant. It wasn't a no-knock warrant. It might have been supposed to be that way, but it was supposed to be, according to Mattingly, it was going to be a knock and announce. But he knocks, bangs on the door, doesn't say shit, doesn't say nothing. Bangs on the door 2 times, waits a minute. So they're inside terrified. Who the fuck is this? Breonna Taylor was just dating that, Scarface. It could be Scarface, right, trying to hurt her, but it's actually somebody worse than Scarface. But, they were quiet. And then as soon as a minute happened, they kicked the door down. Sounds like an explosion. Kenny Walker shoots 1 time. The 1 shot goes into Mattingly's leg, and then that's when the cops just start shooting up a fucking frenzy. 32 shots.
In line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Just as Mattingly begins to knock, a man emerges from the apartment directly above. He doesn't live there, but is picking up his child after finishing work.
So Mattingly knocks on the door, and then the guy from upstairs answers, and he opens it, and he's like, what's going on? Brett Hankinson about fucking kills this innocent bystander.
Door right there, that's why they babysit on me, so I can go pick up my little girl.
A squabble with Detective Brett Hankinson ensues, and already the team seems on edge.
I remember Brett extending his gun, saying, get back in your apartment, get back in your apartment. Brett was a little bit worked up.
Yeah.
I was looking at Brett, saying, Brett, relax. Brett.
Yeah, that's what Mattingly said during this heated exchange. Just, hey, Brett, relax.
Just relax, relax.
The man retreats inside. The police are supposed to be conducting a knock-and-announce raid, but that's not what Mattingly says happens at first.
We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door.
Inside, Taylor wakes up.
So it's a loud bang at the door. She pops up out of sleep and scared her to death. Me too. Like, who is that?
Banged on the door, no response. Banged on it again, no response. At that point,
before they knocked on the door, they, are asking, they're shouting, who is it? Who is it? And they're not listening, and Detective Nobles even says that he can hear her.
Announcing herself.
Whether the police announce themselves clearly enough is a critical issue in this story that we'll return to later on. Not knowing who's at the door this late, Walker grabs his licensed handgun.
Another knock at the door. She's like, who is it? Loud at the top of her lungs. No response. So I'm like, what the heck?
They rush to get dressed and walk toward the door.
We never even made it, mid-hallway. But as loud as we were screaming to say who it is, I know whoever would be on the other side of the door could hear us.
Outside, some of the police do hear Taylor.
I can hear somebody inside. I can hear her.
But after knocking in...
So that was Detective Noble says, I could hear somebody inside. I kept telling John Mattingly I could hear them inside. I kept telling over and over, I can hear her, I can hear her, I can hear her. Does Mattingly give a fuck?
Waiting for around 45 seconds, they decided they've given her enough time to respond and rammed the door open.
The last time, as I said, let's just hit it, and that's when we
So they're going to go in, they're going to kill her. You can watch the whole thing and see what you think yourself. I think it's actually, I mean, I've read a bunch of stuff, but this really pieces together the whole thing. They got both sides, and they're quoting them directly from, you know, using their own voice. It's the New York Times. They have to tell the truth or they'll get sued. And so this could have been so much worse because she was living with her sister, and her sister had a child, so there could have been 4 innocent dead people instead of 1. This could have been so much worse. And, you know, this is just an awful thing. So I'm totally, you know, that should not murder. That should not murder. And if it was a no-knock warrant, they probably would have been better. But instead they did a knock real loud, but don't say who they are kind of fucking deal. And there's no way to tell who the hell they were. There was no way to tell who they were if you were on the inside. And so they think they're being smart. They didn't have cameras on. They're not telling anybody that they're the police. They're just, you know, and it's not even a no-knock warrant. So what the fuck they acting so stupid and, you know, dumb for? It looked like they were, you know, getting ready to kill her. That seemed like that was the plan, to go in and kill her. Why would you have no body cameras? What the fuck? Mattingly, what the hell? They all should be fired just for that. No body cameras, so there's no fucking evidence. What'd you guys do? Well, we're supposed to believe your word, huh? Give me the camera. And there was actually a guy that was walking around with the camera, and then the way that they yelled at him, there's a guy that's walking around with the camera, and they was like, this is the guy that thinks he can go around camera and thing. And then he, you know, shuts it off eventually, but it was able to get enough, you know, shots around the house. And then, God, at the very end, they're sitting there yelling at Kenny Walker like they're going to kill him, like, you know, back up, do this, do that. And there's another SWAT team, and they said there's a dead body inside. Well, we need to go in. But they weren't informing the other police of what's going on. They're just fucking yelling at Kenny Walker, acting like Kenny Walker done something fucking bad. Yeah, he was, you know, protecting and serving his goddamn wife. He was being a man. That's what the fuck Kenny Walker was doing. The biggest mistake of Kenny Walker, that he didn't, you know, I guess just mow them all down because they were all a threat to him. And but he wasn't a Scarface. He wasn't the Scarface. The cameras were off. Mattingly, this is scary. This is terrifying. So, you know, check it out. You know, and yeah, peace out.